back. What Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and Viktor Orban understand about your brain. Marcel Vanessa writing over at Politico. He's a neuroscience. And he says, my research analyzes real speeches made by real politicians, past and present, including those of Trump, Orban, and Putin, using cognitive linguistics, a branch of linguistics that examines the relationship between language and the mind. He says, what I have found is that throughout history, speeches by dictators and autocrats have one thing in common. They use dehumanizing metaphors to instill and propagate hatred of others. Now, let me just ask you to think about this for a moment. What he's saying and what this research finds is that when politicians use words like vermin or invasion or infestation or pests or pestilence or trash to describe human beings, it actually alters the way the brain works. And this alteration, if people are exposed to it long enough and frequently enough, can actually rewire the way that people's brains work and cause them to completely lose empathy for others, the other in this case, the people who are being referred to as vermin, or rats or whatever. And once they've lost empathy for them, then it's just a short ride to the Rwandan slaughter or the Nazi death camps. I mean, it's not that, or just, easy, imprisonment of them. This is, I would argue that, white people used slurs against black people for most of our history, and that's why most white people are, or at least seem to be, relatively unconcerned about the fact that, black people are 2-to-1 represented in our prisons compared to white people, inappropriately. 3-to-1, they get stopped for minor offenses in the state of Florida, for example. 3-to-1, black people to white people for jaywalking, even though black people are only, I think it's 17% of the population of Florida. I have to go back and look, but it's a small percentage, relatively small. So the question that I would ask you is, can you remember a time when any Democrat used this kind of language? Have you ever heard President Biden referred to another group of people as rats or vermin or, terrible or, invasions? I can't. I can't think of any Democrat using this kind of language. Republicans routinely use this kind of language. It is dehumanizing, and it leads to horrible consequences. It's just an absolutely fascinating study. I recommend you check it out. It's over on Politico.com. Stay tuned.